competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, all the pageantry, and I wanted to keep playing. But I graduated. No colleges called, and neither did the pros. So, to stay close to the game I loved, I decided to become a high school official. You know, a referee. When I played high school sports, I learned the importance of integrity, good sportsmanship, and respect for the rules. Now, as a high school official, I get to help model these same values to others. Maybe the colleges and the pros didn't call, but the kids in Alabama did. And now, I'm enjoying the competition, the camaraderie, the bands, the crowds, and all the pageantry of high school sports all over again.
This message presented by the Alabama High School Athletic Association and the Alabama High School Athletic Directors and Coaches Association.
Come on, Dad, I'm running circles around you.
I know, sweetie. Dad's not very fast these days.
What about yesterday? Were you fast yesterday?
No, not...
Or the day before that?
I was...
Or the day before that?
Actually, I wasn't ever really fast. Hard to believe, I know.
Kids are special. Let's treat them that way.
That's okay. When I was little, I wasn't fast either. Now I'm fast, so you'll be fast tomorrow. That's how it works. Now come on.
At St. Baldrick's Foundation, we want kids to be kids. Not just during trips to the park, but when they need us most, when they need help fighting cancer. That's why the advanced research we fund is specifically designed to help children.
I'm pooped after all this.
Dad, you're supposed to do that in the bathroom.
Support St. Baldrick's and childhood cancer research today by going to stbaldricks.org and getting involved.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Green, green, green. You got to make it green. It's your home, it's your dream, it's your dream. Green on test and living healthy and clean. Make it green, green, green. Green, green, green.
Making it green is making sure the air in your home is healthy for your family to breathe. Make sure you test your home for the presence of radon. It's easy. To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN. Preserve your family's health and well-being. Get your home tested. That's living healthy and green.
Gotta make it green. Green, green, green. Make it green. It's your home, it's your dream. It's your dream.
Make sure you test your home for the presence of radon. It's easy. To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN.
A message from the U.S. EPA.
The following is a production of WEGL 91.1 FM.
That ball is gone! It's a walk-off home run for Stephen Williams!
WEGL Sports,
The Tigers are headed to the College World Series!
where every
Lewis is gonna score! Touchdown Auburn! Touchdown Auburn!
game
They're not gonna keep him off the field tonight! Holy cow!
lives. It's now time for the Extra Point. Auburn's best sports talk personalities on Auburn's best station.
We the North are now we the champions. The Raptors, the 2019 NBA champs.
Auburn's most watched sports TV show, Auburn's best sports talk radio show.
Lillard, long range three. And it's good! At the buzzer! Damian Lillard! Are you kidding me?
Call in at 334-844-9345 to join the debate.
Oh my God! Deep to right field, way up there and way out of here! Second deck walk-off home run! Grand slam, Bryce Harper!
Lock in. The Extra Point starts now on WEGL Radio and Eagle Eye TV, presented by WEGL Sports, where every game lives.
Here we come. Yeah, here we come. Hey, here we come. Hey, here we come. Here we come.
And welcome inside the Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV. Hello, everybody. Jared Dillard joining you on this Monday, December 2nd. By the way, it is December. I know it's been, 9-10 days since we've seen each other? Something like that. Coming in for the first time, and we got to talk about some big old news that happened in sports. Once again, everybody, Jared Dillard joining you on the show. And joining me on the show from left to right is Andy Hill and Javon Cutler and Jack Hart. Andy, we'll start with you first. How'd it go? How are you doing?
Turn on my microphone. There we go.
Don't you start with me already. It's been a long week.
Well, it feels like home to be back in here talking some sports. But yeah, my weekend was exceptional. Got to cover the Iron Bowl, also do the live show, which some of Weagle's finest joined up and did that, including Jack Hart, who was on the show. That was really fun to get to have everyone involved with the show and pull it off. It did fantastic. And then also I got to cover the game itself. And, man, for my first Iron Bowl, it did not disappoint at all. And that was honestly one of the greatest experiences I've had as an Auburn student. So proud to be involved with all of that.
Up next is Javon Cutler. Javon, how'd the Iron Bowl treat you?
It was really great. I mean, I didn't expect that much offense, honestly, in the game, but I was not disappointed at all. I mean, glad that Auburn got the win. Glad we got to storm the field afterwards. Glad we got to take that rivalry from Alabama, and we're now 3-0 against Alabama because we beat them twice in men's basketball this year. We got the win, of course, in football, so we own the state for at least all of next year till those matchups come around, but it felt great. I mean, this was my final Auburn game as a student, so I'm glad I got treated to such a great Iron Bowl experience.
Wait. There's one more we forgot about. Earlier on Saturday.
Oh, there was something else?
The home of Auburn Volleyball, WEGL Radio. Give a shout out to Rick Nold and the crew. Auburn Volleyball, first SEC win.
Yeah.
Not only did they win, they swept the tie.
Yes.
In Alabama, or in Tuscaloosa.
Wow.
But you know what? War damn to that.
Yeah.
That is honestly funny.
Final game of the season.
How about that?
They said, you know what? We got this. And the girls went in, and they got the job done. So shout out to them for getting that big win. WGL, we're pretty damn proud. Yeah. Finally, last but not least, Jack, you look different. You got a haircut.
It's that Iron Bowl glow, Jared.
It's the Iron Bowl glow?
The glow on your forehead?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just like Andy, this was my first Iron Bowl I've ever attended, save for 2012, but I'll ignore that one. And yeah, it was a great one. It's probably the most fun I've ever had at an Auburn game. Was definitely not expecting it. Between the five of us who picked it for Weagle, I don't think anyone's had either team scoring more than 24, and Bama scored that in the second quarter alone. So definitely not what I expected, but everything I was hoping for. It couldn't have ended in a more dramatic fashion, and it couldn't have had more fun plays on both sides of the ball. So complete team effort by both squads. Great game. One of the greatest Iron Bowls ever played, and excellent result as the Tigers were victorious.
Yeah, it was. It was something, wasn't it? It was. Look, we're gonna have. I mean, you see the rundown that we have. It's on extra long paper today. There's a lot we got to talk about. But before we do any of that, we got to open up every show like we always do, and that is with.
Step back. Kiss myself, Neil Funk. Woo!
Wake up. It's the Fast Break. Your top stories this morning. Your top story this morning on Monday, December 2nd. The Tom Brady-led New England Patriots offense continued to slump in Sunday's night 28-22 loss to the Houston Texans. As a result, the New England Patriots are now number 2 in the AFC. Hello to the Baltimore Ravens. The Cleveland Browns coach Freddie Kitchens downplayed his Pittsburgh started t-shirt in the aftermath of his team's 20-13 loss on Sunday to those Steelers. But the Steelers players blasted the coach for putting his team in a bad position. Fly, Eagles fly, well, not very much longer, as the Philadelphia Eagles self-destructed in multiple areas during Sunday's 37-31 loss to the Miami Dolphins. Fins up, and are now a long shot to make the postseason, according to coach Doug Peterson, even though they controlled their own destiny. Quarterback Felipe Franks announced on his Instagram account on Sunday that he will not be returning to Florida next season. So now Florida will be looking for a new quarterback. Ole Miss Ole Miss dismissed head coach Matt Luke on Sunday after he posted a 15-21 record in 3 seasons at the helm. At least 10 players walked out of a meeting after being informed of Luke's firing, a source told ESPN's Adam Rittenberg, confirmed by a report by the Clarion Ledger. South Florida fired coach Charlie Strong on Sunday after 3 seasons in which the Bulls won fewer games each year. USF made the move 2 days after finishing 4-8 in a blowout loss to rival UCF. That left Strong 21-16 overall, but 4-14 since starting the 2018 season with 7 straight victories. And Texas fired defensive coordinator Todd Orlando and 2 other assistants Sunday, while reassigning offensive coordinator Tim Beck as part of a major overhaul to Tom Herman's staff. And lastly, I don't know if you caught it, but there was a game on the Plains here on Saturday, and the Auburn Tigers and Gus Malzahn outcoached the Alabama Crimson Tide and that dude named Nick Saban and won 48-45. And that has been your Fast Break presented by WEGO Sports, where every game lives. Before we get into the Iron Bowl, just quickly want to give condolences to the Auburn family. Former Auburn quarterback Pat Sullivan, the 1971 Heisman Trophy winner, and later the head coach at TCU and Stanford University, passed away on Sunday morning after his long battle with cancer. Sullivan, who had the disease in 2003, was 69. Sullivan was a 3-year starting quarterback at Auburn from 1969 to 71, and he led the Tigers to a 26-7 record. And he and receiver Terry Beasley became one of the most celebrated duos, and Sullivan to Beasley became one of the famous monikers in SEC football history. The jersey numbers worn by Beasley, Sullivan, and 1985 Heisman Trophy winner Bo Jackson are the only ones retired at Auburn. Sullivan is survived by his wife Jean, their 3 children, and 8 grandchildren. Condolences to Sullivan and his family. The Iron Bowl came and went Saturday, and there's a lot of emotions to break down in that. And we'll do it for the next about 30 to 45 minutes. If you want to call in, you can at 334-844-9345. That is 334-844-9345 to join the show to talk about the Iron Bowl or anything sports related. If you want to ask a question in our live TV stream, you can by going to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Periscope. Ask a question in the live stream, and we'll answer it live on the show. Let's just get quickly initial reactions. We'll go to break, and then we'll break down this complete game. Andy, we'll start with you. What is the initial reaction from Auburn's win over Alabama?
I mean, where to start with this game, but honestly, I think the first thing is just how many points were scored, but then all the twists and turns that happened in the game, like the interceptions and the amount of scoring in the second quarter alone. I mean, 48 points was crazy. So, yeah, I was impressed with both teams. I think Alabama and Auburn both deserve to win the game, and you hate it if for Alabama, although, you know, obviously Auburn fans don't care because they beat Alabama. But, yeah, it was just a well-played game overall, and I was, you know, thrilled to be there and be a part of that.
Javon, what about you? What's the initial reaction from the game?
Kind of to go off what Andy said, yeah, all the twists and turns. I mean, there was a bunch of crazy things. The first thing that comes to mind is the pick six that Zacoby McClain had, where it was 100 yards, basically called off of Najee Harris's back. The kick return by Jalen Waddle, and Waddle basically destroyed Auburn single-handedly almost, so we'll talk about that later in the show. But my initial reaction was just all the twists and turns and the offensive explosions from both teams, because I thought it would be a low-scoring game, but ended up getting, 93 total points in the game, so it was definitely something I didn't expect at all from all this kind of craziness.
Jack?
Yeah, definitely. It seemed that every time a certain aspect of the game kind of fell apart, they made a big play to make up for that, whether that was the Bama offense or the Auburn defense, who both had their high moments and low moments. And it was really a back-and-forth game. The momentum shifted several times. There were enormous plays that swung the pendulum back and forth. There were a couple of 14-point swings that went either way. So no team was ever really out of it, and it seemed that both teams had the motivation to go out there and win. I mean, there was little doubt every time that Auburn went out there with the ball, but they were going to get to the end zone, which has not been a given for this entire season. So that was a sea change in the Auburn offense, and I think the Auburn emotions around the stadium that a lot of people weren't as worried as they would be against an LSU or a Georgia that Bo Nix could go out there and lead his team down the field, because he did it once and he continued to do it throughout the whole game. So that was my biggest takeaway from this entire matchup.
Yeah, there's so much more to break down, and we'll get into that after the break. Once again, as we head to a commercial break, you want to call in, you can at 334-844-9345. That is 334-844-9345. Or if you're one of those lovely, beautiful people watching in the TV live stream on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, or YouTube, ask a question in the live stream. We'll answer when we get back from break. But let's take a deep breath and let's go to a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we will detail that Iron Bowl and everything that it had. You're watching and listening to the Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV.
The skills you can develop as a soldier in the Army National Guard can give you an edge in the high-tech job market of tomorrow. The Guard offers career training to take advantage of your skills in science, technology, engineering, and math that can help give you a leg up to a high-paying and rewarding STEM profession. Gain practical experience with emerging technology and equipment not found in the civilian world. The Army National Guard can get you started in an array of STEM-related career fields such as information technology, communication systems, special forces engineers, technical engineering, air traffic control, and chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear science. Get a head start on your career in an exciting new field while earning money to pay for college, all while serving in your own community. Log on to NationalGuard.com or talk to a recruiter in your area to learn about all of the STEM career opportunities available to you in the Army National Guard. Sponsored by the Alabama Army National Guard. Aired by the Alabama Broadcasters Association and this station.
Want to help pull the plug on cyber terrorists? Or get the skills to work with satellites and other space technology? How about learning the avionics inside stealth fighters? And do you want to reach your goals fast? You can do it and take your life to the next level in the Air National Guard. Because you serve part-time, you do it in a way that works for you. You can achieve your career and educational goals with plenty of time for family and friends. The Air Guard offers nearly 200 career specialties, so you'll get the high-tech skills you need to kick your career into high gear. You can also be eligible for college tuition assistance. The best part is, in the Air Guard, you'll be making a real difference by serving your community and country. So get your future off the ground in the Air National Guard. Call the Alabama Air National Guard at 1-800-TOGO-ANG or visit goang.com/AL.
And welcome back inside the Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV. Hello, everybody. Jared Dillon, and joining me in the studio is Andy Hewling, Javon Cutler, and Jack Hart. If you want to call in, you can at 334-844-9345. That is 334-844-9345 to join the show. Or ask a question in our live TV stream on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. We'll answer it live on the show. Obviously, we're going to talk about this one game that happened on Saturday. Auburn defeating Alabama 48-45 in what is easily one of the best Iron Bowls in history. I don't know where we all personally put it. We know the kick six is probably still number one. I mean, I feel like it's hard to beat the kick six. But this is definitely up there. I know people are going to talk about 82. People are going to talk about 2017. People are going to talk about what happened on Saturday. But are we on agreement it's at least top five?
Yes.
Without a doubt?
Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt? Okay. I just wanted to be sure. And there's a great possibility that Auburn now holds number one and number two with the kick six and whatever name we're giving this one. I don't know what name we're giving it.
I called it wide left.
Doesn't rhyme.
Or War Doink Eagle.
Ew, worse.
Look, we'll keep working on that. Some news coming into the station right now. Auburn has been fined. We knew this was coming. Auburn has been fined $250,000 for the students running onto the field. It is Auburn's 4th violation. So there's been 3 others. So I'm trying to see. Let's see. Financial penalties, which are increased by action taken during the 2015 spring meetings, are imposed on violations. $50,000 for the first offense, up to $100,000 for the second, and $250 for the third and following offenses. Auburn's done it a couple of times. Most notably, 2017 that happened. Auburn basketball did it as well. And I don't know the third time. Did we rush the field in 2017 again? Did we do it against Georgia?
We did, 2013 and then 2017.
Well, this is from 2015 on.
Yeah. Okay.
So
did we do it another basketball game by chance?
I think we won the regular season championship.
Last year?
Yeah.
2 years ago. 2018.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We're
Did
on
they
tournament.
But we
last
tied
year.
with Tennessee.
There's too many championships for me to keep up with. It's actually a good thing.
I don't think fans stormed the field.
I don't
though.
remember that.
I don't think fans stormed the field.
Either way, it's the 4th time it's happened at Auburn.
Yeah.
Auburn got fined $250,000, i.e. donors are covering $250,000 for Auburn today. And, yeah. Now, let's actually break down the game. Auburn winning 48-45. And I guess it's just simple as just going quarter by quarter and just going in there. Let's talk about Auburn's first drive. 5 plays, 33 yards. And it ended kind of with a whimper where Auburn was out the gate fast and then, eventually ended with a Bo Nix pooch kick that, went to the back of the end zone. So I think one of the funny thing is kind of that typical Auburn drive, right? That Auburn started out with. It started out really hot and then it kind of just fizzled out, which I got to assume did not give you guys good feelings about the game, just seeing that.
Yeah, I was a little uneasy. I kind of thought Jackson caught the ball on that play. I mean, review, I guess he trapped it, but it seemed like he got his hands under it and his feet were both in bounds on the replay. So I don't know. I guess the refs determined that when he caught it, the ball was like on the ground on his side. But yeah, it did fizzle out, and I was thinking, oh boy, here we go. It's Alabama is going to get the ball, and they're going to go down there and score. And we thought they did, but then they got called back for a holding, and that kind of was a big turning point already in the game.
Anybody else want to talk about that first kind of drive? And it's funny because I think I sent earlier in the day to a couple of people, like Auburn when they scored the first touchdown. The video of Carter just like being amazed. Auburn did not score on the first drive, but from there on, it kind of built. Alabama got the field goal to go up 3-0, and then they traded some punts back and forth. But then, thankfully for Auburn, they got a big touchdown from Bo Nix, 7-yard run to go up 7-3 late in the first quarter, and that is after Christian Tutt returned for 37 yards. So special teams playing a big point for the game, as Alabama was able to pin Auburn a lot, but Auburn's special teams helped them and at one point did hurt them. But Auburn going up 7-3 against Alabama, and then Alabama pretty much responding pretty quick on a 14-play, 75-yard drive. Auburn ties it up at 10, and then, Auburn goes up 17. Pretty much, without having to break down the whole dang game, the first half ended with 1 second left. That's the part I want to get to. That's all I was building.
Before we get to that, Jared, I'd just like to point out that we were 7-3 after that first quarter, as Alabama was driving out of the shadow of their own goalpost. It was 10-10, 5 minutes left in this quarter, in the half. And here I am thinking, oh, this is going to be LSU all over again, 10-10 at halftime. And then Mac Jones throws an untimely interception, pick 6. Najee Harris runs the kick back. Booby Whitlow fumbles the ball. Bama's got a short field. Auburn drives down the field. And just like that, Alabama scored 28 Auburn has scored 20. The over hits in the second quarter alone, and we go to halftime, and you're 1 second, 37-21 after 10-10 with 5 minutes left in the second quarter. What an incredible sequence between these two teams.
The half ending 31-27. That is after a weird sequence of events. So this is how the half ended. Bo Nix threw it to Boobie Whitlow, got 17 yards. Clock seems to run out. We're going to half. Alabama runs off the field. Alabama's gone. They're not coming back. But Gus Malzahn saying, hey, and it made me chuckle when I just saw the video of him just saying, hey, 1 second. And then everybody in the stadium knew, oh, this is happening again. Referees go, they review it. Boobie Whitlow's forward motion was stopped. He was down. And Alabama has to run back on the field. Here's the thing about that play, right? So the question becomes, okay, on a first down, yes, clock stops, chains reset. When the chains reset, clock starts running again. Here's the problem. I know a couple Alabama fans have questions about what happened there. So this is what happened. Let me explain this from an Auburn fan perspective. Alabama ran off the field. So yes, the chains moved, the chains were set, but they cannot start play until Alabama's back on the field. So what does Auburn do in that situation? Well, Auburn says, hey, we're going to line up on the ball. We're going to get set up and ready. And the moment that whistle is blown, we're snapping the ball, right? It is not the down rule. Does anyone know the spike rule?
Yeah. So, last night I watched a video from the Paul Feinbaum show. Dari Noka had a SEC rules analyst come in and explain it to me, which I didn't really know the rule. But the thing is that what Nick Saban was complaining about as he went into the locker room saying that he didn't really understand what was going on, that's not the rule. The rule is if there is less than 3 seconds, 3 was the number that Nick Saban used. He said that's how long it takes you to snap, kick, hold. Then you're able to get the play off. What that is if you want to spike the ball to stop the clock to then attempt a field goal, that needs 3 seconds by rule. So if there's 2 seconds and you spike the ball, half's over, game's over. But as long as there's a second left on that clock, as soon as you snap the ball, the clock starts. So you have time for any play you want to run as long as it's not a spike. So that's the rule that Nick Saban was alluding to in his frustration with the play. I'm sure it's been explained to him by now, but in the heat of the moment, that's what was getting on Nick Saban and Bama fans' nerves.
Also, another thing that I heard was that when the officials go make a review, the clock stops. So I think a lot of Alabama fans thought, okay, so the clock is going to start when we come back to the field goal, and then Auburn won't have enough time to get it off. But no, I think a lot of people were confused on that. No, the clock stops when they make the review, so Auburn could snap it when they wanted to and then get the kickoff.
And the important thing is when the clock does start, it is up to referee to start the clock again. The clock just doesn't start on its own for whatever reason. The referee has to signal, whistle, and tell the clock operator to start the clock.
Which I'm sure we'll get to, as it happened again.
And then pretty much when once the whistle blew, that was the long snapper's key that I got to get rid of this. Snap, hold, kick, almost blocked. But Anders Carlson, also, give a shout out to him, coming through big. We know he struggled from 40 yards out. He is one of the unsung heroes of this game, if not the hero of this game, as he came through clutch in a number of situations and came up big. And that was eventually what we find out to be the difference was Anders' kick at halftime, and obviously we'll talk about it on the other side of the break, the doink. So Auburn goes into the half up 31-27. Anything else about that first half that kind of just stuck out to you?
Well,
the first half was crazy, but the second half had a lot of other things going on.
Well, Jalen Waddle really stood out to me, and Najee Harris. They both really set the tone for Alabama. And, dude, Jalen Waddle is cold. Like, seriously, he is one of the fastest dudes I've ever seen. And when he hit the corner on that long touchdown pass he had, I mean, he was gone. None of Auburn's safeties were catching him. He is honestly one of the fastest guys I've seen next to like Anthony Schwartz and Tyreek Hill. If you watch NFL games, I'm telling you, he really, really made a difference for Alabama, especially in that first half. Because if he had not returned that kick all the way back, I mean, Auburn could have gone in the half maybe up 10 because Alabama would have had to make a drive down there to score. So he really was the difference on that kickoff in the first half.
I'd say also the Sal Cannella catch from Bo Nix because that was an incredible catch. I mean, the body control, able to get not one, but he got 2 feet in, so that would have been a legal catch for an NFL game as well, but he was able to control the ball kind of at the end of, or at the part of the end zone. I mean, Nix put it on him. Honestly, I didn't think he caught it at first, but then they showed the replay on the Jumbotron, and it was incredible how he was able to control it, and I think Auburn's receivers really stepped up in this game as well. I don't remember when exactly this happened, but the Seth Williams catch where Nix threw it down the field and Williams basically made that one-handed catch. I mean, that was incredible too. So the receivers really stepped up for Bo Nix when he needed him the most, and Nix was also accurate on those passes as well because those aren't easy passes to complete. So I think Auburn's receivers stepping up in the second quarter really helped kind of create this jumbled mess as well as Alabama and their special teams and their offense getting it going as well. So it was just a crazy and fun second quarter to watch.
Yeah, and as much as you'll hear about the missed opportunities and the 2 pick sixes that kind of kept Alabama from pulling away, you also have to factor into that the sequence of the returned kick and then the booby fumble, because that's a 14-point swing the other way. So it wasn't a one-sided game. I mean, both teams were taking punches and throwing punches left and right. So as much as you'll hear about that 100-yard pick six, which we'll get to, it's definitely, you got to factor in every play that happened and the momentum changes that happened throughout the course of this game, which took forever, honestly.
Well, let's go ahead and head to our next commercial break, and when we come back, we'll break down A, Nick Saban blowing a gasket on the sideline, and B, the second half of that spectacular Iron Bowl. You're watching and listening to Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV.
Okay, so Sarah, I'm dropping you off at Emily's?
Yep.
And Josh, you're going to?
Soccer, Dad. Soccer practice.
Right. Oh, by the way, I just wanted to let you know when I pick you both up, I'll be wearing my short shorts.
What?
No!
Yep, and my dorky dad hat, and I'm gonna do my dad dance for all your friends. They'll love it!
Seriously? Why?
Because I like my short shorts. Of course, I could be talked out of it if you guys would just buckle up your seatbelts without giving me a hard time.
It's important to get your kids to buckle up for safety, no matter what it takes. And sometimes, all it takes is your parental powers of persuasion.
Okay, we're buckling up.
See, all buckled.
Good choice. I'll just have to do my dad dance at dinner time.
What?
No!
Do what you have to make sure your kids are wearing their seatbelts, even on short drives. Never give up until they buckle up. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council. Visit safercar.gov/kidsbuckleup for more information.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I opened a 401k.
So you're giving up? Just like that?
Giving up on what?
On getting an inheritance from a distant relative.
Don't you think if there were a billionaire in the family, we'd know about it by now?
Listen to me. We are one phone call away from riding horses on our own private polo grounds. One call from christening yachts, having a butler, using summer as a verb.
How do you figure?
Look, everyone's got a rich uncle somewhere. It's statistics. So the best thing you can do is just prepare for the inevitable.
Right, which is why I thought maybe it would be smart to take control of my finances. You know, start using a budget, get out of debt, set some retirement goals.
Budgets? Debt? You watch your mouth. Retirement shouldn't be a goal for us. It should be a way of life.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Can't keep me down.
And welcome back inside the Extra Point here on WEGL 911 and Eagle Eye TV. Hello, everybody. Jared Dillon joining me in the studio from left to right is Andy Hewling, Javon Cutler, and Jack Hart. We've broken down the first half of the Iron Bowl. Let's get to the second half of the Iron Bowl. which is a whole nother ball game. If you want to call in, you can at 334-844-9345. That is 334-844-9345 to join the show. Or ask a question in our TV live stream on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, and YouTube. And we will answer your questions live on the show. With that being said, let's talk about the second half. But not before we poke fun at Nick Saban for absolutely losing his mind on that last second field goal attempt at the end of the first half. As, well, I think that may be the angriest I've seen Nick Saban in a long time. And it was something. I guess I'll just go with it was something. And then we go into half. Auburn's still down, but I feel like even though Auburn was losing at halftime, and even though I believe Alabama starts the half with the ball, right?
Yeah.
There was something in the air. It didn't feel as though the game was getting away from Auburn. It felt like it shifted at that moment. And so Auburn comes out in the second half, and, well, the second half happened, right? So where do we start with the second half?
Well, I think it's a good point that you brought up that it kind of felt different because when I went into halftime, I was thinking, I think Auburn actually has the edge because I think it almost seemed like we were in their head after that field goal. And just the whole atmosphere changed because everyone's like, this is a high-scoring game. Auburn's only down by 4. Like, they have a chance. And Alabama, obviously their offense has been great, but it doesn't mean that, like, they're going to continue that way, which, I mean, they still were, scoring. But Auburn's defense was able to figure out ways to make big stops when they had to. And, yeah, the difference in the game was just that whole little end of the first half kind of set the tone for the rest of the game and how it unfold.
Yeah, it definitely did set the tone, and I think we all agree that it did feel a little bit different inside that stadium, especially Alabama coming out in the second half with the ball. Now, thankfully for Auburn, definitely made some defensive adjustments. We know that Waddle was a problem, and he continued to be a problem, but Auburn was at least able to stop Alabama from scoring on the opening drive in the second half. So there's that, right? And from there, it was kind of, well, it was the battlefield, right? Who's gonna win the war of attrition from that point on? So then we get a third quarter. Obviously, Anders gets that 43-yard field goal. He continues to do his thing, and then, well, the 100-yard interception, right? What better? I mean, once again, on the 6th anniversary of the kick six, what better than having a play where we got to put 1 second back on the clock for a field goal, and then there happens to be a 100-yard return? It wasn't a kick six return, but it was a pick six return.
Well, here's a big stat that I learned just yesterday, that Gus Malzahn is 19-0 when he gets a defensive touchdown. That's a big stat. And I thought that was really ironic that he got 2 of them, and one of them was a 100-yard return, like you said. And I couldn't, like, after that, I was stunned that Auburn was able to get 2 interceptions off Alabama. And Mac Jones was playing a good game. I didn't think, like, he was, I felt like the first interception, he just overthrew it, and Smoke Monday made a great play. But this one, I mean, Najee Harris didn't turn around, but I think Mac Jones threw it a little too early before Najee could see it, and it banked off his back, and McClain was just there. And he said in the press conference, he said, I just saw the ball, and I was like, I grabbed it and went. I mean, it was unreal, and I think that was another just twist in the game, and I think it gave the team life, and they said, okay, we can do this. And yeah, it was wild. It just was a huge turn in the game.
And not only that, after that, obviously, Alabama would answer. Jalen Waddle, obviously, with a 12-yard touchdown. Anders ending the half with the field goal, and Auburn went into the fourth quarter with the lead. Now, that being said, Alabama would score. Once again, Jalen Waddle again. But then probably an image that will be on social media websites for years to come if there's a highlight of what the Iron Bowl is, it is going to be a clip of this. Sean Shivers, who's always been the small guy, right? We know he's not big, but he made a big old play as he ran in for an 11-yard touchdown and absolutely knocked the brakes off that Alabama DB. I'm going to be honest, from where I was sitting, I thought Sean Shivers fumbled the ball. I thought he fumbled. I saw something fly in the air, and I was like, oh no, we're going to lose. And then I realized the referee said touchdown, and I was confused.
Yeah, I thought it was the ball as well. I thought the ball had popped way up in the air, and then, I saw everyone cheering, so I knew it was a touchdown. I figured someone had snatched it out of the air when it was at its point of zero velocity and just ran it in for a touchdown. But sure enough, it was thankfully the Bama player's helmet, not his head, that Shivers took off, and he just barreled in there for a touchdown. And that's what I think set the tone for the rest of the game.
Yeah, that was really crazy. I mean, Shivers is only 5'7", 5'8", if I'm being generous. Then the defender, I think it was Xavier McKinney, who's one of their best defenders. He's about 6'2", 6'3", so it just shows you that Shivers was able to use that force of his to clearly knock his helmet off. And I just want that picture kind of hanging somewhere in Jordan Hare Stadium forever. It needs to be on a huge poster. Hang it in the Louvre. Why not? I mean, replace the Mona Lisa, put Sean Shivers' picture in there. It'll still draw a bunch of people. It's just an amazing photo. I mean, I've seen it probably 100 times since Saturday. I still get amazed by it each time, and I know for sure that we're going to troll Alabama each time we see them with that play, and it was just amazing to watch, and I still can't believe that happened.
And you know what the crazy thing about it is? I'm pretty sure that picture's already up in Athletics somewhere.
Oh, it's got to be.
I'm pretty sure it's already there.
And you know what's cool, too, is that Sean Shivers should have scored last year on that long touchdown run. He got, called back for a penalty. And I thought it was really cool that he got to score this time against Alabama because, he's usually the guy that's kind of not looked as a powerful runner. And, yeah, that was awesome that he, got to show what he can do and really, have some forceful, powerful run in the end zone.
And then let's go ahead and bring up what Alabama did later. 30-yard field goal attempt late in the game. Alabama looked at tying it up and looking to send it at least into overtime, if not win. The kick is up, and it was good until either the wind or the grace of God just said, not today. And he doinked it right off the left upright. And the place absolutely exploded because ball's in Auburn's court now, and all Auburn had to do was just run out the clock. I mean, explain to me, for a lot of you that were in the stadium, what that atmosphere was like when you realized, oh my goodness, he missed the field goal.
Well, the first thing I did, I was just shocked because, after I turned off my camera, I looked over. There was a guy I'd been talking to from WSFA who was there, and he and I just looked at each other like, what is happening right now? It is total. This game has been total chaos, and it just turned on its head again. And, you would think a 30-yard field goal is pretty easy for a Bama kicker. I mean, even, Alabama right now is the worst in the FBS at field goal attempts since Saban got there, which is you would think Alabama could recruit a great kicker. And a 30-yard field goal should be, that should be easy money. That's like a free throw for, Steph Curry in Game 7 of the NBA Finals. It should be that easy. But unfortunately for Alabama, it hits the left upright, and the place went berserk. It was so loud, and even the whole night, I've never heard Jordan Hare that loud, and it was insane.
It definitely was. Javon, what about you, Jack?
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, of course, everybody's making noise, block that kick, whatnot. Then he kicks the ball, gets kind of quiet. You hear the doink, then pretty much, the place exploded. I mean, I'd never heard Jordan Hare that loud before. Everybody was going crazy we finally got this, and we all know Alabama's had their struggles with kicks, and Bulovis was having a solid game before that. I mean, he made a 43-yard field goal in the first half, so we were thinking he might be doing pretty good today, but it just shows you that Alabama still has problems with kicks, and they've missed, I believe, 101 kicks since Nick Saban's taken control of the team in 2007, which is the most in all of college football. So it just shows you that you can't trust an Alabama kicker. And yeah, he should have made it. 30 yards isn't that hard, but still, for once it feels good that Auburn had some luck on their side, because sometimes Auburn gets the short end of the stick sometimes, this season especially. But for once, everything worked in their favor, and Auburn was able to escape with a win, which we'll talk about. But yeah, it was just crazy in the stadium as far as the missed kick.
Jack?
You know, I was celebrating a little too hard to kind of catch the vibe of what was going on. But suffice to say, yeah, I think there was a feeling throughout the whole game, every time Bama lined up to kick, that if Auburn wins this game, it's going to come off the leg of someone wearing crimson, and that's exactly what happened. I think I was thinking that when they first scored that, when we were able to hold them to a pretty long field goal on the first drive, I thought if we can do this all night, then there's going to be a point where these guys can't be automatic, and that's exactly what it came down to. And I think the defense there at the end, knowing that in the back of their heads that, yeah, this is going to come down to a kick, especially with Derek Brown batting down that pass on third down. I think there was a stigma in the air that's just been set up by, the stat that Javon said, Alabama leads the FBS and missed kicked under Saban, and it isn't close. So I think, there was just a feeling in Jordan Hare that is a feedback loop that just made it louder and louder and louder, and it was just at critical mass by the time that thing doinked off the upright. And it was loud, and it was beautiful.
We got to head to break, but when we come back, we'll explain what happened on that final play. Not final play, but that got Auburn the win. The penalty for Alabama. You're watching and listening to Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV.
I'm Tiffany. I have some tips for you on how to quit smoking like I did. First, I did some reading about it. I found a lot of great advice on how to quit smoking and picked out the ways I thought would work best for me. I started by setting a quit date. Then I threw out my ashtrays, lighters, and matches. I did other things too, like exercising more, and it worked. But I'd still get cravings, especially on long car rides. To help me with that, I put a picture of my mother in my car. She died of lung cancer from smoking cigarettes when I was only 16. Now I have a 16-year-old daughter. That picture of my mother reminds me that I don't want to miss all the things my daughter is going to do in her life, including turning 17.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
The thought of my sons growing up without me inspired me to quit smoking.
I talked to my doctors, and then I threw away all my cigarettes, ashtrays, and lighters.
I started exercising instead of smoking.
Getting support from friends online kept me on track.
Staying away from alcohol when I was first quitting was key.
Instead of smoking after I ate, I'd get up and take a walk.
I missed having a cigarette in my hand, so I'd hold a pen or a straw, anything.
Until I knew I wouldn't give in to temptation, I spent more time with my friends who didn't smoke.
I went to places that were smoke-free.
I didn't stay quit the very first time I tried.
I kept on trying, and I learned something each time.
Do whatever it takes.
No matter how many times it takes.
I quit.
I quit.
I quit.
We did it, so can you.
You can quit. For free help, call 1-800-QUIT-NOW. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and CDC.
Hold up! Whoa, 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 whoa! Get out the way, get out the way, get out the way, yeah! Yeah! Get out the way, get the up on my way, yeah! Yeah!
And so let's explain how Auburn won that game. It is fourth down. Obviously, Auburn can't make anything easy. They don't get a first down. Fourth down. Here we go. It is 4th and 4. So what exactly happened on that play? Let me tell you simply what happened. Gus Malzahn out-coached Nick Saban is what happened. That is what happened, everybody. There's no way you can cut it because this is how this happened. So, Jalen Waddle is the punt returner on punts. What he is coached to do is that I key in on the punter. If I see the punter on the field, I go back there, I go to field the punt. Here's why this play unfolded the way it did. Auburn takes the field. Aaron Sipos is out there. Jalen Waddle sees Aaron Sipos. He's like, okay, here's a punt. I'm going to go out there. But Aaron Sipos isn't going out there to be the punter. Aaron Sipos is going out there to be a wide receiver. Bo Nix back at quarterback. What is Auburn doing exactly? What Auburn wanted to do was to confuse Alabama. Alabama's defense is on the field. Jalen Waddle is out back to return the kick. And because he's out there by himself, there's not a lot of people around him. The only people that can actually get his attention is the coaching staff on the sideline. And they're so far away, the place is so loud, he cannot hear them. So, obviously, Auburn gets set, and here's the penalty. People wondered why Jalen Waddle wasn't able to run off the field and it'd be fine. Here's the penalty. The penalty is if, when the ball is snapped, you have 12 guys on the field, or once you are set in your formation, you have 12 players on the field. Alabama got set in formation with 12 players on the field, and that is why, without snapping the ball, Bo Nix simply just started pointing down the field. There's a 12th player down there. Get them on the flag. And because Alabama broke the huddle with 12 players, Auburn got a first down on a 5-yard penalty, and they're able to kneel the ball to win this historic Iron Bowl. There's not really much I can say after that.
I think it's a genius call. In all of Gus Malzahn's wins against Saban, he's always been smarter than him. And I think of the kick six, obviously, because he put someone back there to return the kick, and he put the right people out there to block for him. And Alabama didn't have the right personnel. And then this same thing, Alabama didn't have the right personnel again, and they didn't have. They had too many men on the field. It was a genius call. And I kind of thought at first, I didn't see Aaron Sipos out there, and I was like, what is Auburn doing? Are they out of their minds? And then I saw Waddle out there, and I was like, I realized, oh, they're trying to, confuse them. And then I could see Alabama's coaching staff. They were like trying to get Waddle off the field. They're like, come on. And it was too late, and Alabama was already ready. It was just a genius move from Gus to get a first down, and I thought it was a brilliant idea to try to confuse Alabama and not give them back the ball, because I felt like Alabama, with the ball with just a minute left, they could have gone down and easily tied or won the game.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy how that unfolded. I'm just glad Auburn got the win. It's fun to see Saban once again melt down on that play, and like you said, Andy, it was good to see Auburn outsmart Nick Saban once again. And Auburn's been the team that's kind of been in the thorn of Alabama throughout this kind of historic run that they've been on. Auburn's found ways, feels like every 2 or 3 years, to kind of get under Alabama's skin. And I didn't think that Auburn could do it, but I'm glad Auburn got the win. And it was just incredible how they were able to kind of trick Alabama on that last play. And it was just something to behold. I mean, because usually you never see Alabama make mental errors like that. They're usually so sound on both sides of the ball, including special teams as well. But it just shows you that Malzahn had a trick up his sleeve, and he possibly might have saved his job here at Auburn with that single type of play, because I think his job would have been in big-time question if he had lost to both Bama and Georgia this year. So I think Malzahn pulled out all the tricks he could for this game, and that kind of fake punt, weird-looking play was the play that kind of saved his job, I'd say, for right now.
Jack, what are your final thoughts on this Iron Bowl?
Jordan Hare has really just been a boneyard for Nick Saban. I mean, this makes his record against Auburn now 8-5, which is crazy to think about considering how successful Bama has been.
I think the list of coaches who are successful against Nick Saban is Gus Malzahn and Dabo Swinney. Like, and really it's just 1-2.
He joins an elite club of coaches who have beaten Saban 3 times or more. So there's only 7 of them, I believe. So it's definitely, I mean, yes, you have the benefit of playing them every year, but I mean, so does Mississippi State at that point. So you just got to wonder, it seems that, yeah, Alabama's success really hinges on whether or not Auburn can get them, and to kind of have that power over them. Why you're not contending every year, I know Auburn fans would like to be, at least take that to heart, is that you get a chance every year to ruin Alabama's day, and that's exactly what happened on Saturday.
Oh, man, I just remembered. We really should have tweeted out that video we had of Auburn, Alabama that we were saying for hockey. I think we could have used it there. It's
okay.
all right.
We'll use it in January.
We'll use it in January. Well, that being said, that does it for the first hour. You know, I never really thought that we could talk about one subject for an hour. We just did it.
I mean, Jared, there's so much to talk about. You could spend like 4 days talking about it.
And we might. Now, by tomorrow, we'll move on to championship week. We know Auburn, unfortunately, even though great win, they'll have to settle for a bowl game. I do know that one bowl game is already decided, the Bahamas Bowl.
Yes, sir.
It is
Charlotte 49ers, welcome to the party, just joining FBS, I think 2 years ago.
Yeah, Charlotte versus, who are they playing?
I don't know, but they put together a 9-win season, which is pretty impressive.
Charlotte's playing on the rundown. I already have our pick'em games. Pretty much all the championship games on there. And Army versus Navy, obviously. Go Navy, beat Army.
I'm going to take issue with your name for the ACC championship game. It should be Coastal All-Stars got shafted, and they sent Virginia instead.
Yeah, for each bowl game, I put a fun little name for them. But with that being said, Jack, Andy, thank you for joining me on this show. Always great to have you guys, and I'll see you later in the week as we break down some more stuff. Javon is going to join me on the other side of the break, along with the scoreboard of Bay Marks and Jacob Hillman. If they even get to the studio, I have no idea where anybody is at. Jacob could still be in a bush somewhere. I don't know. That being said, we're going to head to a quick commercial break. And at the top of the hour at 11 o'clock, we'll be back with Extra Point here on WGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV.
Slept through the flight, not for the night. 767, man, this got double bedroom, man. I still got scores to settle, man. I crept down a block, made a right.
A promise was made. A promise that hit the beaches of Normandy. A covenant that split the skies over Berlin. A vow that captured Iwo Jima. A promise was made. A solemn oath that liberated Seoul. A sacred trust that defended Quezon. A pact that dug in Da Nang. A contract that weathered Tet. A promise was made. A pledge that stormed the desert in Iraq. A bond that patrolled door to door in Fallujah. An IOU that braved IEDs in Kandahar. A promise was made to America's veterans. A promise we all must keep. DAV fights for all veterans and their families so they get the health care, financial benefits, and support they earned. If you're a veteran who needs help or you'd like to help us keep the promise, visit DAV.org.
Hey, Dr. Phil here. I help people solve difficult and trying personal problems every day on my TV show, but there's one problem that's just got me stumped: childhood hunger. Nearly 16 million children in America struggle with it. That's 1 in 5 kids who may not know where their next meal is coming from, despite the fact that there's more than enough healthy, nutritious food out there to feed them all. Now, I don't know about you, but that is unacceptable to me. Luckily, the Feeding America network of good people is out there collecting surplus food and giving hope to hungry children and their families at local food banks all across the country. But let's face it, they can't do it without your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Sharing has never meant as much as it does now. We share the things we love most in life for the world to see. But what if we could actually do more with our sharing than just collect likes? What if this sharing could be used to make a difference? Now there's a place where we can put all that sharing to good use. The National MS Society is asking people to make a difference and share what they love with someone else who loves it too. Whether it's surfing, dancing, or whatever is important to you, we've created a place that'll help you get your experience out to the world. If you have a story, share it. If you have a solution, share that too. Join us at wearestrongerthanms.org, because together, we are stronger.
As a mother, you don't want to have to worry about this bill is coming, but then she needs this chemo. That's a decision you shouldn't have to make.
El que San Jude no cobra ni un centavo para nosotros significa quitarnos todo ese estrés, esa preocupación y podernos enfocar en nuestra hija.
That was the first thing I was like, how are we going to do this? When St. Jude told us that we didn't have to pay a single bill, I was like, wow. They pretty much have saved us.
It's like the world has been lifted off of your shoulders, and now your focus is supporting this child.
There is not another hospital like St. Jude. The patient care is unmatchable. It saved my life. It saved my daughter's life. It saved our family.
Dad, we need to talk.
Can we just enjoy the drive?
If you're not going to listen to me, who will we listen to?
Jeffrey. Marcia Gay Harden, what?
Eyes on the road, Dad.
What are you doing? What are you doing in my back seat? How did you get in here?
You're getting older.
Not that old.
Your brain's changing. It's natural.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Honey, I've got experience with this. Jeffrey, brain health is all about making the most of your brain as you age and helping to reduce some of the risks to your brain.
Really? Now that's interesting.
So, you'll talk to her about this, but not me. Marcia Gay Harden? Where did she go?
Learn what you can do to help keep your brain healthy at brainhealth.gov. She didn't say goodbye? I mean, I would have. Visit brainhealth.gov.
The following is a production of WEGL 91.1 FM.
That ball is gone! It's a walk-off home run for Stephen Williams!
WEGL Sports,
The Tigers are headed to the College World Series!
where every
Lewis is gonna score! Touchdown Auburn! Touchdown Auburn!
game
They're not gonna keep him off the field tonight! Holy cow!
lives.
I'm about to be the only. Everybody gonna know me. Gonna be the only one to take it on.
And welcome back into the top of the hour, the Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV. Hello, everybody. Jared Dillard, and joining me in the studio is Javon Cutler. But also on this lovely post-Iron Bowl Monday, the scoreboard of Bay Marks and Jacob Hillman. Bay, we will start with you. Not only how was your Thanksgiving break, but how was Saturday?
Dude, it doesn't get much better than how I'm feeling right now. Thanksgiving to start off was great. Got to go to Birmingham as well as Jacob did. Me and him had a road trip the first day to go to a state park for our geology class, and then ate some good food, came back down, and dude, Saturday was my first Iron Bowl. I think I should start going to them more often if that's how they're going to turn out.
Well,
and the Packers won.
Yep. That's true.
I had a great weekend. It was awesome.
Well, Jacob, the Panthers lost. We know that, but
I was happy about that. I'm all for the tank now. So
he's on the tank. Okay. But other than that, how was your break? And also, how was Saturday?
It was a warm Saturday, so that was great. Got to rate the weather, obviously. But no, it was a fantastic Saturday. Just not expected. I thought Auburn should have won based on the circumstances, backup quarterback, etc. But if Auburn was going to win, I didn't think it'd be like that. I was thinking if Auburn scores 24 points, they'll probably win. But then they scored 24 and were down 31-24. And then chaos ensued.
And it all started, and I said this in the first hour, it all started with that volleyball sweep. Auburn volleyball finally getting a big win in conference play, their only win for this season, and it's in Tuscaloosa, sweep over Alabama. And, at that point, I just knew something's special today. Something's happening. And then, for some odd reason, before the game, I started getting 2014 vibes, which wasn't good. It was not good because obviously Auburn lost 2014. But I'm like, something's weird about this game. And it definitely was 2014-ish.
Yes, I mean, that's as close as 2014 as you're going to get, especially with, it's a lot different because Auburn's offense that year was exceptional. Alabama's offense that year, and they had Blake Sims at quarterback. But this year, you would expect Alabama to be able to put up those kind of numbers, but you wouldn't expect Auburn to put up those numbers. And Alabama, you wouldn't expect without Tua Tagovailoa, but it was just a fantastic game.
Auburn beat Alabama 48-45. If you want to call in, you can at 334-844-9345. That is 334-844-9345. Or you can ask a question in the live stream on Twitter, Facebook, Periscope, and YouTube, and we will answer it live on the show. Javon and I have talked about this game for an hour. I'm not really sure there's anything else we can really say, but for the scoreboard, from obviously the 1 second at the end of the first half, Nick Saban absolutely losing his mind. The 100-yard pick six by McClain, the doink. Alabama had 12 guys on the field. Pick and choose. What?
That entire second quarter, I would say, was fantastic. That entire second quarter was just a game of its own. All the momentum shifts from the Smoke Monday pick six to Jalen Waddle answering with a kick return touchdown. Then they got a turnover and scored to take the lead. But then Auburn came right back with that drive. Nix to Williams, Nix to Hastings, and then a fantastic touchdown grab by Sal Cannella. That second quarter was so exciting. And then I failed to mention another Jalen Waddle touchdown, and then, of course, the field goal you mentioned. So it was just a fun second quarter, and after that, everyone kind of knew that we were in for something special in the second half.
I think this game had just about everything you could think of. I think the only thing that the game really didn't have was something on the punt teams. We had defensive scores, offensive scores, a kickoff return for a score.
Christian Tutt tried.
He tried. But really, the thing with Alabama was they knew coming into this game, well, Najee Harris has been on fire lately. We're going to use him. And then we've got the best receiving core in the nation, and Jalen Waddle absolutely balled out on special teams and on offense.
That dude's good.
If you'd have told me before the game that Jalen Waddle scored 4 total touchdowns and Alabama would have lost, I would have thought you were crazy. If you'd have told me that Auburn had 2 pick sixes in this game too, I would have thought you were crazy. But Jacob put it out on Twitter. Auburn's secondary's been fire lately with the interceptions.
And where in Carmen, San Diego was Jerry Jeudy?
Don't know.
Okay.
That's a good question.
I've got a fire take about him that he has really dropped off this year.
I don't think I've really heard about him the last couple of games.
All he did against Auburn was catch a few screen passes.
He's dropped a lot of balls this year, and LSU is a prime example of that. He dropped a lot of balls against the Tigers, but he only had 5 catches for 26 yards. And we mentioned Jalen Waddle and Henry Ruggs, 2 of the fastest players in the nation, 99 and 98 yards respectively. And I also told Hillman this, Anthony Schwartz didn't play.
Yeah, he got injured on the first play.
He got hurt on the first play.
He got hurt.
And honestly, Auburn had a lot of players going down.
Caleb Kim, Matthew Hill came out eventually.
There was a point where Derek Brown was down.
Yeah.
And we thought,
Marlon Davidson was down at a point.
Christian Tutt on the punt return.
It was like...
they were dropping like flies.
And that's just a testament to this season. Auburn dropping big losses and sticking together. They lose the fastest player in college football, who's been their second best receiver this year, and they still torch Alabama secondary.
Has there been any word on Schwartz? I'm not sure.
I haven't heard much about it. I don't think it was serious. I think I saw a video of him on the sideline on the bike. I think it's probably one of those things where he'll probably be back for the bowl game.
Oh, like easily.
Yeah.
I didn't know what happened. I was afraid that it was his hand that he had surgery on, that he may have fallen on or something like that.
It was definitely his leg, though.
It was his leg?
Yeah.
Okay. That's what I was concerned about. But thankfully, it's not the hand.
Okay, we can sit here and talk about 2 pick sixes, Jalen Waddle. Are we just going to disregard the fact that a 5'7" Sean Shivers took a man's head off on a 3rd and 5 jet sweep for a touchdown?
Like I was telling Javon and the crew in the first hour, I thought we fumbled.
Yeah.
The ball. Yeah. You thought that was the ball?
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
I thought, I was like, I saw the game fly away when I saw that. And then I realized, why are we cheering and why did the ref say touchdown?
My favorite thing about Sean Shivers is that he is 5'7", 180, but runs like he's 6'4", 240 pounds. He does not care that he's the shortest player on the field. He's going to run through. He is a bowling ball. It's awesome.
He's fast too. He's like,
what year is Sean Shivers?
He's a sophomore. He's barely just slower than Anthony Schwartz.
They raced against each other in high school in like track, and he always came in second to Schwartz.
But Xavier McKinney's going to be one of the first few rounds of NFL draft pick this year,
tackle.
And he took his head off.
I it's great because that picture is going to be circulating for years to come.
Mm-hmm.
Like when we put together highlight videos of what is the Iron Bowl, that'll hit bow over top, right? Cam, the kick six, that hits in there.
And don't forget the execution from Bo Nix right after that with the 2-point conversion. I mean, that's huge. That puts
I yelled a run, and he.
Well, yeah.
made a perfect decision.
The run was wide open, and really, you can debate if he makes it into the end zone or not. But that ball was a dime. That was a great throw.
That was a dime. The throw to Canella, dime.
Yeah, nobody's talking about that either.
Nobody's talking about that drive.
That drive was the best.
When he pretty much threw the ball away to Will Hastings.
Is this wrong to say that was the best drive of Bo Nix's season this year?
I think it was the flashiest.
It's Oregon or this one.
Yeah, I think it was the flashiest. There's been a few drives this year that Auburn executed well. I think that was just a little bit of razzle dazzle because I mean there was a one-handed catch by Seth. It was a throwaway for Will Hastings, and then Sal Canella just so happens to be 6'5".
Yeah.
So I don't know if it was. I mean, it was executed well, but
Auburn's Post Malone coming up big.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to go back to the Shivers run. Someone said on Twitter, we all know the Ronnie Brown trucking against Tennessee. Someone said that this is the modern version of that. I mean, think about it, like Ronnie Brown trucked that guy, and his helmet came off and everything. Sean Shivers did it to him. I don't know. I want to see a lot more of Sean Shivers in the next few years. He touched the ball twice, and we saw what happens when he does.
And I think we will. Gus Malzahn has a thing for his upperclassmen, and I think it's going to be pretty hard to not think about putting Sean Shivers into the game when every time he walks past his office, there's a big old picture of Sean Shivers knocking that guy's head off, because I assume it's already there.
It should be.
It better be there, and like I said in the first hour, it better be in the Louvre as well. I mean, replace the Mona Lisa. It's outdated. It's old. Put the picture of Sean Shivers knocking Xavier McKinney's helmet off. It'll still draw the same amount of people, so I think that should be a perfect picture. It should be worldwide, and I think also, like Andy mentioned this, I think in the first hour, he was like, Shivers was probably mad about that touchdown being called back last year, because he would have had a touchdown, but it was a holding call, I believe, on Auburn, so there could have been some pent-up frustration in that run as well from that.
Oh, he pent it up all right.
Oh,
he unloaded on somebody.
I think my favorite thing from that run, I went back and watched the CBS broadcast on YouTube.
I still need to do that.
Nestler, they were showing Shivers, and they were having to run a 2-point conversion, and he didn't know if he was in the game or not. So he was grabbing his helmet to run back to the sideline to see if he was in the game. And when he did, Nestler said Sean Shivers has to grab his helmet. Xavier McKinney's probably still looking for his.
Oh my gosh.
Like, that was beautiful. That was perfect.
I think something else with the CBS broadcast in this game is when you go back and look at it, the doink is so loud.
It is.
I think they had the goalpost mic'd up.
They had to have.
And Blovis isn't a bad kicker. And sitting there, I was like, okay, Alabama's going to make this kick, and we're going to probably go into overtime. And, of course, it
was going down the middle.
Yeah.
But then it hooked.
Yeah.
I said, look, it's either one of two things. Either the wind blew a little bit, or God just said not today.
Auburn Jesus.
Yeah.
Hey, Anders almost missed his last field goal. I mean, that barely snuck into the upright.
And of course, the one at the end of the half, too. I mean, Anders was
honestly
on it.
Probably should have been blocked, because I thought Alabama blocked it. I mean, the guy was literally right there.
Yeah.
Trying to block it, but he snuck it in.
Well, Anders Carlson also won Special Teams Player of the Week.
Deservingly.
SEC?
Oh, SEC.
Hey,
Special Teams Player of the Week.
The tricky thing about that field goal is you have to remember, as soon as the ref clocked that ball, clocks the actual game clock, the clock's running, there was 1 second left.
Snap it.
So, Quattlebaum, third string long snapper, high IQ to go ahead and snap it, which they probably told him to, obviously, but
still.
Everybody's got to be on the same page.
Exactly
and he
right.
had, what's his name, the holder back?
Ledbetter.
Yeah, he didn't hold the last game. It was Aaron Sipos.
That is true.
So,
but another SEC Player of the Week. Guess who Defensive Player of the Week was?
Did Derek tie it up at 4-4? Oh no, it's Jacoby McClain.
Yeah, I
exactly.
thought
He's like
it
the
has
national
to
player
be.
of the week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He won national?
Yeah, he won national.
I
Defensive
forget
player of
what
the week.
what the sponsor of that award.
He had
is.
like a team
Was
high
it-
something
is it
tackles.
Athlon? I think Athlon National Player of the Week. But yeah, exactly. He didn't just have the pick six. He had 11 tackles.
Team high 11 tackles. Yeah.
Yeah, career and game high.
And 100-yard pick six.
Good on him. All right.
Hey, Jacoby said after the Sanford game when I went into the interview room, they asked him about Alabama, and you know his quote was?
What?
It's somewhere on our social media when I put it up there. But he said, "Oh yeah, we ready for them boys," and he was ready.
He was.
He balled out against Najee Harris. Najee could not run the ball on him.
Oh boy. Well, I don't know how to wrap up this segment. I think obviously.
I guess last thing I want to say about that play was that I think the reason they run that play instead of running it 3 straight times is because Georgia scored twice on Auburn in the flats. I remember that they had the one to Brian Herron and then one to their tight end. And I think Auburn defended the flats well because I think they tried to go to the flats several times in the goal line situations and it didn't work. So I think
they
Auburn
did
a good
late in
job.
the game too on the other side of the field, right before Belovis missed that kick.
Exactly.
Yeah, Auburn
You're
did a good job of that.
And I think, Bay, you brought up earlier that there wasn't many amazing plays on punt return. We did draw Alabama offsides on a punt situation, I guess.
That did happen.
If you want to call it that, whatever it may be. But Aaron Sippos, if you would have told me Auburn's going to win this game because Aaron Sippos lined up at wide receiver, I would have been like, what in the world are you talking about? And what situation are we in?
Yeah, Gus,
did everybody get hurt?
Gus had a game plan. He knew, he's like, if I put him out there, we're going to get a penalty. And that's all they needed. It was 4th and 4. Yeah. So that iced it. Aaron Sippos lined up at wide receiver for the Auburn Tigers.
And won the game.
Or if they would have had to snap the ball and thrown it to him.
Well,
They wouldn't have. They would have.
I'm not sure. I think he started motioning to the back. I think Bo Nix was about to be one of the blockers.
Yeah.
Because I think they were going to snap it.
And
if
it
he did.
he was going to be part of the shield.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know about that, actually.
That's what I thought was going to happen.
Because if you punted away to Jalen Waddle with Bo Nix out there, I don't know about that.
Bo would have turned sideways and kicked it out of bounds.
I definitely think it was going out of bounds easily.
I think they were probably going to. That is true.
That would have been Bo's second punt of the night if he would have punted it. He had a little pooch kick at the beginning of the game.
Bo Nix has a punt, and Aaron Sippos is lining up at wide receiver, and Auburn wins the game.
Watch out, Aaron. Bo's coming for your job.
Well, we've broke down the Iron Bowl for an hour and 15 minutes. When we come back from break, I guess we'll break down some other games that apparently happened. I guess
other games?
Yeah, apparently. Some other big games that happened. And getting ready for championship week. I don't know if you've seen on the rundown, but I gave each championship game a nice little name. And Army and Navy. But with that being said, we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. You're watching and listening to Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV.
Okay, Simon, what are you wearing right now?
Nothing.
That's right. And what do people normally wear?
Clothes.
Exactly. So now Mommy's going to teach you how to dress yourself. Clothes keep us warm, they look good, and if we go out without them, the neighbors will talk. So it's important to know how to get dressed. Here's how it's done. Underwear always comes first, name tag at the back, then pants, then shirt. Get the first button in the right hole or you have to start all over. If you're wearing a tie, it goes over, round, round, through, and pull tight. Tuck your shirt into your pants and zip up your fly. Socks going first, then shoes right on right, left on left. With shoelaces, just take the ends, cross them over, switch the loops. The rabbit goes down the hole, pull tight, and you're left with bunny ears.
I love bunnies.
Good to know. Now remember, spots don't go with stripes, socks don't go with sandals, and if you've tucked in your shirt, wear a belt. Got it? Why are your pants on your head?
Most parenting is hard to do in just 2 minutes. But spending just 2 minutes twice a day making sure they brush their teeth is easier and could help save them from a lifetime of tooth pain. For fun 2-minute videos to watch while brushing, visit 2min2x.org. That's 2min2x.org. A message from the Partnership for Healthy Mouths, Healthy Lives, and the Ad Council.
Why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Having trouble finding Connor's middle school? Would you like directions?
No, why is Connor having trouble focusing in school?
Finding lowest airfare to Istanbul.
No, I'm tired of fighting with him over homework.
Home, walk, restaurant. Need a review?
No, I need help. He's very smart, but his mind wanders. He's disorganized.
I think I understand.
Oh, good.
Finding best potatoes for French fries.
No!
Russet, fingerling, Yukon Gold.
Why don't you understand me?
Sorry, I was trying to show how Connor feels every day. Frustrating, isn't it? Redirecting to understood.org.
For the 1 in 5 kids with learning and attention issues, this is what life can feel like.
Explore Understood.org, a free online resource about learning and attention issues designed to help your child thrive in school and in life. Understood.org, because understanding is everything.
Brought to you by Understood.org and the Ad Council.
And welcome back inside the Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV. Hello, everybody. Jared Dillon joining me in the studio is Bay Marks, Javon Cutler, and Jacob Hillman. For all you Alabama fans, you can now uncover your ears and continue to watch. We are done talking about the Iron Bowl, although it will probably pop up again in probably the next 30 seconds anyway. With that being said, let's talk about college football and some other games that happened throughout the week. Honestly, take your pick at what happened. I think the biggest games to talk about, obviously, Virginia Tech and Virginia, the winner going to the ACC championship game. Not only did Virginia beat Virginia Tech for the first time in 15 years? 15 years. And not only does Virginia complete the 7-year span of a different team going to the championship game, Virginia is going to their first ACC championship game in program history.
That was a fun game to watch.
It was a lot of fun to watch. It definitely picked back up in the second half because they just started slinging that thing. And then obviously, I wish Virginia Tech would at least put together some sort of drive instead of it ending with the safety, but whatever.
That was all right with me. It was the second best field storming we saw this weekend, so that was fun to watch. But I really think Virginia, with the momentum, I think they'll put a fight up in the ACC championship. Not going to pick them to win, but I do think that we'll see a fun game in Charlotte this week.
Yeah, it's Clemson, 29.5 point favorite.
I'm going to say Virginia will cover that. I mean, I know it's kind of looking ahead, but based off this game, man, I think Virginia's got some momentum going.
I want Virginia to win.
I mean, don't we all?
Yeah,
Dabo went on a rant this past weekend about how everybody's trying to keep Clemson out of the playoff.
I mean,
nobody's trying to keep Clemson out.
Are we all sick of this shtick about Clemson being the underdog? Because they're not.
They're not.
They've won 2 of the last 3 national championships. Why? I'm sick of it. I don't get why he keeps playing this up.
Once again, arguably, Alabama and Clemson had the same best win. Now, it depends on what you think of A&M versus Wake Forest and what I assume will be Virginia eventually, right? But up to a certain point, they both had the same best win. It's not like Clemson played a hard schedule. That's not their fault. The ACC is just trash. But
I mean, I'm not even trying to go into the schedule thing. I'm just sick of what he tries to play up as them being, just shunned. I mean, I think for the schedule they should be shunned, but not really oh, it's just Clemson. People respect Clemson because they've won national championships.
I think the problem with it is in years previous it's been Alabama and the media trying to prove this other team could be better than Bama, and then it's Clemson. Now that Clemson's been at the top of the college football world, and you have other teams that are definitely better than them in LSU and Ohio State, and maybe even Georgia, I think that's why Dabo's so mad right now. I don't know. I think it's kind of an ego thing. Look, we're still undefeated. We're one of the best teams in the nation now. A schedule debate you can make would be, the reason why people are probably put Georgia ahead of you. Georgia does play a tougher schedule. Let's just get that out there right now. They play Florida, Auburn. They're about to play LSU. Clemson's played South Carolina, North Carolina. Who else really?
Yeah.
I don't know. I agree with Hillman though. I'm really tired of them trying to kind of ask for everybody to feel bad for them. Look at us.
That's a great way to put it. Is that he tries to make everyone feel bad for
It's
him,
a pity party.
But why should we feel bad for you when you've won 2 of the last 3 national championships?
I heard that he gives up Papa John's pizzas at his pizza parties though.
That he does.
Oh, Papa John's pizza.
Let's not get into that argument about competitors.
Well,
say that for another show.
Let's just think about it this way. The debate about does it matter if you're really 1 or 2 in the playoff could definitely matter with this Clemson team.
It does.
Because people have been talking about that. It 100% matters. No, it doesn't matter as long as you're 1 or 2. It 100% matters.
I do think that this Clemson team is starting to get on a roll. I think they're a lot better than they looked at the beginning of the season. I would much rather play whoever that number 4 team is than Clemson.
I was about to say, because Clemson's, in my opinion, is about to steamroll over Virginia. And they're going to have a lot of momentum going into Ohio State. Because Ohio State's going to play Wisconsin. They're going to beat them, presumably. And LSU the same with Georgia. Probably allowing, I guess we can all come to a consensus and say Utah coming into the 4th spot, a Pac-12 champion.
If that scenario plays out, then yes.
Okay.
Yes.
LSU would curve stomp Utah.
It won't even be close.
Oh, no.
So the 1 and 2 spot matters as well with a Clemson team that's undefeated.
Other games that happen, Cincinnati and Memphis played, and then they're going to play again. That's kind of how that's kind of how the AAC is going at this point. Memphis won 34-24, and then they'll play again next week in Memphis.
Is this on the rundown? Oh, I see it now.
It is. It is the. Well, we can go ahead and go through this. It is the. Wait, where did I put it at?
Yeah.
Oh, the Power 6 Championship. There it is. Number 19 Cincinnati versus number 18 Memphis. Obviously, this is based off the AP poll. Some other championship games. We'll start from the top. How about the Fun Belt Championship between Louisiana and 25 App State? Once again, this is the AP poll, but slowly but surely, I don't know if you've noticed, App State's slowly starting to claw their way to Michigan, and I'm really just waiting for them to be just right next to each other in the poll. I'm really hoping that happens in the next college football playoff poll.
They're honestly one of those group of 5 powers now. Ever since they joined the FBS, they've been really good.
Mm-hmm. I was going to ask if that was a troll to the upset in the Big House, but I'm just not going to say anything.
The Maction Championship, Miami of Ohio taking on Central Michigan. So that will be something.
I was going to say, that's an interesting matchup. It's not like two teams that you don't have really that MAC team this year that's like up there that's fun to watch. It's just,
Which side of the MAC has Central Michigan, Western Michigan, and like Eastern Michigan all in it in one side of the MAC?
That side. I don't know the name of it.
Probably the West. I don't know. Sounds about right.
You think I know Maction
There's like 3 Michigan teams. You know what?
It's East and West, and it's the West.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah. Up next, the Joey Freshwater Championships. UAB, who apparently has 9 wins this season. Didn't realize.
They're undefeated at home.
Taking on FAU in Florida Atlantic, who apparently is playing in their championship game. They completely right on the radar. Well, they played Oklahoma the first game of the season. Was that the season last season?
Yeah,
that was this season.
And they got blown out.
Yeah.
And after that, I didn't really pay attention to them. So there's that game. Then there's Go Navy beat Army. Army versus Navy. That should be a fun one. The Pac-12 After Dark Championship as number 6 Utah takes on number 14 Oregon. Oregon probably stumbling in after they only beat Oregon State 24-10, which for a Pac-12 game, I felt there should be more points scored.
Usually.
Yeah. Usually.
Let's see if Oregon can just kill the Pac-12's hopes of the playoff.
Oh, they will. The Blow for Burrow Championship, number 2 LSU versus number 4 Georgia. That'll be a whole bunch of fun. One of my favorite names. The How Many Points Can We Score in This Game championship game between number 9 Baylor and number 7 Oklahoma. I don't know what they set the over-under at yet. Where's that game at? Here it is. I can go ahead and tell you that Oklahoma is favored by 8 points, and it is set at... Actually, I don't know if they actually said it yet.
I don't think they've said it yet, no.
They've not said it yet, but it is in Jerry's world, so at least there'll be a win there.
So is
the
Big 12 just the top 2 teams? Because they don't have divisions, correct?
It is.
Yes.
Yeah,
okay.
it's just top 2.
So it'll be a rematch from when they were in Baylor and the Oklahoma comeback. Okay.
Yeah, it was. It's just like how Texas and Oklahoma had the rematch of the shootout.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. The Power 6 Championship, Cincinnati and Memphis. There's also the Mountain West Rip the Whack Championship, Hawaii, which apparently is a good team, against number 20 Boise State. So
the WAC will be back when Weagle makes their conference.
That is true. The Clemson Championship game as Virginia takes on number 3 Clemson. And finally, my favorite name that I came up with, and thank you, the 100th anniversary of the J.T. Barrett fighting in the Great War Championship game, number 1 Ohio State versus number 12 Wisconsin.
Have they announced game day this week? I presume it'll be the SEC Championship. Yeah. Okay. If not, I was gonna go nuts.
Yeah, kind of has to be. Big games, and we'll talk about those games more as the week goes on. But championship week is set, and it looks to be a fun one. It looks to be there are a lot of interesting games. Obviously, 3 of these games have championship implications. I mean, well, all of them have championship implications or playoff implications. But Baylor and Oklahoma, Utah and Oregon, big games. In the SEC championship, if Georgia wins, what does that mean?
2 SEC teams in the playoff.
if Ohio State loses, what does that mean?
They slipped to 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say they'll still be in.
Well, yeah.
In the crazy scenario where Ohio State loses, LSU loses, Clemson loses, and let's say Baylor and Utah win. Oh lordy,
I think that would be wow.
That's a lot.
That's
Number
crazy.
1, Georgia.
Kind of has to be.
Number 2, I mean, this obviously depends on
The quality of the
big-
loss.
yeah. Number 2, 3 is LSU, Ohio State, and 4, I guess, would be. You said Utah wins.
Utah wins that scenario.
Yeah, I'd say it's them.
I think this year's playoff scenario going into championship week has probably been the funnest since, or the most intriguing since the playoff has been invented.
And you know why it's intriguing? Because the first time we ain't got to worry about Alabama.
You know why it's also intriguing?
That's why.
It's the first time it's included probably SEC Player of the Year, Joe Burrow.
Oh, yes.
True.
When it includes former SEC Player of the Week, future SEC Player of the Week, future Heisman winner, and future number 1 overall pick to the Cincinnati Bengals, I presume, Joe Burrow. Blow for Burrow. We got to go to break. We're going to go to break, and then when we come back, I guess there's other sports that happened since the break. We can talk about that. But we're going to hit a quick commercial break, and when we come back, we'll have more of the Extra Point here on WGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV.
Making it green is making sure the air in your home is healthy for your family to breathe. Make sure you test your home for the presence of radon. It's easy. To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN. Preserve your family's health and well-being. Get your home tested. That's living healthy and green. Make sure you test your home for the presence of radon. It's easy. To learn more, call 866-730-GREEN.
A message from the US EPA.
It may be hard to believe, but people just like you are already saving money. FeedThePig.org makes it easy. Their simple savings plan teaches you how to start saving without going overboard. So you don't need to mooch off your friends.
You gonna finish that grape?
You mean the one in my mouth? You don't need to stop buying the necessities.
What you're smelling is a natural musk.
Ew.
You don't need to be a medical test subject.
How do you feel?
Mostly okay. Sometimes, though.
You don't need to get a second job as a stuntman.
We need a new stuntman. Let's break for lunch.
You just need an internet connection. Don't get left behind. Start your personal savings plan with the tips and tools on feedthepig.org. That way, you don't need to sell your soul to the devil.
$15 is the best I can do.
All right, deal. Brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Nothing feels better than this. Nothing feels better. Nothing feels better.
And welcome back inside the Extra Point here on WGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV. Hello, everybody. Jared Dillard, and joining me in the studio is Siobhan Cutler and the scoreboard of Bay Marks and Jacob Hillman. 30 minutes to go in the show, and I guess there's other sports that were going on during the weekend and during Thanksgiving. I guess.
I mean, you've got to keep the focus on football. It was the last weekend of wall-to-wall college and NFL, which we haven't even talked about NFL, but still.
So I'll let you guys choose. Do you want to continue college football and you talk about news like, for example, coaches getting fired, or do we want to segue into the NFL, NBA, etc.?
I mean, I say we should probably do the college football coaches getting fired thing. Then the last segment, just do the NFL, NBA mashup. So let's do some college football.
We can go there. Well, I guess since the break, Missouri has fired their coach. He's gone. Ole Miss fired their coach. He's gone. Obviously, Arkansas got rid of Chad Morris weeks before. He's gone. So 3 SEC coaches are out. There are some other SEC coaches that we're not really sure about. I've heard rumblings about Muschamp at South Carolina. I've heard, through some message boards, I've heard about things at Vanderbilt, which I don't think Vanderbilt really cares.
They
but
said they're bringing him back, but it's ridiculous. He shouldn't be back. Derek Mason is not getting it done.
Hey, give up to Jeremy Pruitt. I mean,
yeah, how about that?
Turn around. I mean, I'll give it to him. Look,
Jared doesn't
I'll
have
give
to
it
take
him.
his job anymore.
Yeah, like there was 2 months ago, we were sitting here talking about how A, that guy on top of his car dealership was gonna die, and B, that we will all be at Tennessee taking jobs. And now that's not going to happen because obviously also give up for Tennessee. They finished with the same SEC record as Auburn. Auburn didn't fall behind Tennessee in that. So there's that. Tennessee. And by the way, I was looking at the ESPN bowl predictions. Tennessee is predicted for a January 1st bowl.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys are ready for that. I don't think I'm ready for that.
Which one?
It's not the Citrus
bad
Bowl.
one.
Outback Bowl.
No, whichever the worst one is.
Is it like the Tax Slayer Bowl or something? Or no, that was the Gator Bowl.
Is it the Red Box Bowl?
No,
No.
The Cheez-It Bowl?
That's out west.
Let me. I'm trying to see if I
There's
can.
no way they're putting Tennessee in
Here, I'm looking
New
it
Year's
up.
Day.
Yeah, go look it up. I can't find it here.
I'm on the bowl schedule.
They are 7-5,
They're 7-5. It's not a pretty 7-5,
but
they're
there
7-5.
are 5 teams that are for sure ahead of them, and Texas A&M probably is too.
Yeah, but do you think that A&M will get a? I think they're slated for the Texas Bowl.
January 1st bowl games are the Citrus Bowl, Outback Bowl, Rose Bowl, and Sugar Bowl. And then on January 2nd, there's the Birmingham Bowl, Gator Bowl, Potato Bowl. Or the Potato Bowl is the third, and then January 4th.
The famous
Armed
Idaho
Forces
Potato Bowl. I'm like, this is a potato bowl?
It's got to be the Gator Bowl.
Maybe the Mobile, Alabama Bowl.
I don't think
yes.
that's SEC teams.
It's
It's Gator
not.
or Birmingham. But I think Birmingham's going to end up with like FSU and UAB.
Let me see. I'm really trying to find this.
Tennessee, the turnaround is exciting, but if they get January 1st bowl, I will.
I really should have had this lined up on the docket before I went into it.
No, but Tennessee's turned around. I mean, it's incredible what they've done, especially after they benched Garantano and then their quarterback who replaced him got hurt, and Garantano's come back and played really well.
Yeah, he has. Some other hirings. Greg Schiano's at Rutgers now.
Yeah, after that whole debacle.
Yeah, they're, I don't want to get too much into the whole Tennessee stuff. Obviously, I think right now, I think Tennessee's in a decent position now with Pruitt. Didn't think that at the beginning of the year, but I think Tennessee fans are okay with what's going on right now. Schiano, I mean...
Someone who was almost the Tennessee coach.
I mean, that's the guy Rutgers wants. So...
I don't know. Rutgers is in a bad position. So.
Completely out of the SEC again. Steve Adazio was fired.
Yeah.
That's big for Boston College.
Yeah, so Boston College obviously moving on from their coach.
Did you guys see what Andre Williams tweeted about him?
I'm not sure that I did.
So usually you see players come out in support of the coach.
Like the Ole Miss players with Matt Luke.
Yes, correct.
Yeah, 10 players walking out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He did not. He went after him, was talking about how he's not surprised and it's how it went, or that he deserved that. I mean, it's kind of crazy. He mentioned when he was invited back to Boston College as a legend of the game, and he tried to go shake his hand, and the guy ignored him. So it was interesting to see a player, speak out against the coach after they get fired. So
yeah, I did find the bowl games. Let me find Tennessee. Here we go. The Outback Bowl on January 1st.
Oh,
it is predicted. One of them being Mark Slaybach.
I know exactly who it is.
Minnesota
Yeah.
versus Tennessee.
Ooh.
Hope you guys are ready to row the boat.
Minnesota would boat race them.
Well, I guess, Tennessee's boat did catch on fire that one game. So I don't think they have one. But yeah, if you're wondering, for Auburn, Citrus
No,
Bowl.
don't say it. Don't say who they're playing, Jared. Don't say it.
Citrus Bowl versus Wisconsin.
No.
I know that brings up bad memories.
Oh.
Terrible.
Especially a doink.
Terrible.
We had a doink in that game, right?
Yes.
It was.
Oh,
It was a
God.
Carlson.
Oh, God.
It was Daniel. It was freshman season.
Yep.
Do we have another one of those?
I hope we don't.
Yeah. It's,
So wait, what are the New Year's Six bowls? Where's Florida, Alabama, Georgia?
So here we go.
Georgia will probably be the Sugar
for
Bowl.
the
again.
You're right.
For the All-State Sugar Bowl, Georgia versus Oklahoma or Baylor. For the
Cotton Bowl.
For the Goodyear Cotton Bowl Classic. First of all, for the Capital One Orange Bowl, they have Virginia versus either Alabama or Florida.
Ooh.
Which honestly, we believe that both those teams will probably beat the mess out of Virginia.
Wait, is the Cotton Bowl predicted to be Bama and Memphis as well?
So the Cotton Bowl is predicted to be Memphis versus Florida or Alabama. So
Give
pretty
it
much
to me.
one SEC team's going to the Cotton Bowl, one's going to the Orange Bowl.
Oh man.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Imagine Florida or Bama playing a Memphis team.
Yeah, I do not want to see that.
Unless Cincinnati sneaks in there if they beat Memphis this weekend.
They could. They
That's
could
true.
sneak in
That'd
there.
be ugly.
I think the funniest thing that we're looking at right now, you were asking about Texas A&M. The Texas Bowl is where they're predicted, which I guess makes sense for a revenue perspective.
Yeah, for sure.
Because are they
Big draw.
7-5 this year?
They are.
Yep.
Okay.
But it's just, I mean, look at their losses.
Auburn, LSU, Bama,
Georgia,
Clemson.
Clemson.
If you want to see somebody go from the penthouse to the outhouse, the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowls, where UCF is going to end up apparently.
Oh gosh.
That's good.
Holy cow.
Yeah. And going through it, trying to find our pretty much meme bowls. Oh, Cheez-It Bowl. Here it is. So Texas could end up in the Cheez-It Bowl against Air Force. Yeah.
Ooh.
That could be a thing that happens.
I know there's some talk about Texas playing Notre Dame in the Camping World Bowl in Orlando.
That's not fair to Notre Dame.
There's
Notre Dame
been
deserves
talk about it.
Notre Dame deserves a better opponent than that. I feel
Probably.
like.
You're probably right.
And then obviously the Red Box Bowl, you can catch either Cal versus Iowa or Washington versus Indiana are the two predictions. We know how that game went last year.
Both
It
of
did not
those
end well.
Both of those would be fun matchups.
I'm excited for bowl season, and I'm excited to pick
course.
every single bowl game. We're doing a whole big competition on that. But with that being said, I'll also sworn off on saying with that being said, because apparently I do that a lot.
Yeah. You gotta do.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to swear that off. But what are some other news that is happening in college football?
I mean, Texas is pretty much like Carter said, playing musical chairs with
Yeah, they
their
are.
coaching staff.
They are.
Yep.
Where does Charlie Strong go?
Honestly, and somebody brought this up.
Alabama defensive coordinator?
Somebody brought up Alabama. Do you think Texas would be like, hey,
Come be a coordinator.
He's a good defensive coordinator. He is.
It's just head coaching is his
His head coaching
kryptonite.
just
Yeah. I mean, he did decent at Louisville.
I was gonna say.
I'd say he was, yeah.
that was his one good stint. And we can make arguments about there's another reason why Louisville was good, and it wasn't because of Charlie Strong, but that's another. That's neither here nor there. But I mean, look, things soured at Texas for him. But if you're looking for a defensive coordinator job, I mean, Alabama, that'll be pretty good. But Texas, I mean, they need help. Texas got to find somebody.
It'll be interesting to see what kind of moves they make just because what's going to happen to Tom Herman in the future.
He better figure it out quick.
Yeah.
Not that I think Tom Herman's a bad guy or a bad coach, but Texas fans are not patient.
No, they're not.
Their fan base is not patient at all.
They've been back 400 different times. So, I mean, would you not get impatient after a while? After several 6-6 seasons?
Yeah.
They're losing to Maryland 2 years in a row?
It's definitely a weird position for Texas. And they had a good year last year. I think that's the worst part about it, is that you were up here and you're supposed to build on that, and then they just fell back down to earth real quick. And it was a Texas team that was supposed to compete. Remember, this was a top 10 Texas team at one point. or top 10 or at least top 15.
Yeah,
They
game
did-
day was
yeah,
in
this
Austin
weekend.
for the LSU game.
Yeah. And then after that, they just kind of fell off the rock.
They played Oklahoma close. That's when it.
At least USC kind of looked important or kind of looked good.
Oh yeah, Clay Helton didn't get fired.
Yeah,
that's weird.
We don't know what's going on with Clay Helton. Apparently, he's there. He's going to stay. Apparently, there was reports going around that he got fired, but they're not confirmed. And USC called them out on it. And USC athletics is just a dumpster fire in general. So they're really telling what's happening there. So Clay Helton's still there for at least one more year. And as far as I know, there hasn't been any other firings that I know about. Obviously, this whole week, there'll be firings here and there to keep in mind. So we'll keep an eye on that throughout the week. We're going to go ahead and go to our next commercial break, our final commercial break. And when we come back, we'll finish up the extra point, talking about the NFL, NBA, and all the other sports, and just run that all together. You're watching Listening to Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. I improved my credit score.
You're kidding, right?
No.
How are we supposed to be the bad boys of electro-synth pop if you're out there being responsible? The band is about to be discovered. This is our year.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while now.
You think anyone in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was worried about their credit score?
I never really thought that
Of course they weren't. Rock stars aren't supposed to think about that kind of stuff. We're supposed to think about how many guitars we've smashed, write aggressively sensitive power ballads, start questionable fashion trends, tragically break up and blame creative differences.
All right. I thought maybe it was time to take control of my finances, you know? Start using a budget, get out of debt, set some goals.
A budget? Debt? Set some goals? Listen, I knew that we'd have our creative differences, but I was hoping they'd involve a little more scandal.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Dave, what are you doing?
Just sending a gift to Dave 2037.
Who?
Me in the future. I save a little money from every paycheck as a gift to Dave 2037, so he can spend it on things like anti-gravity boots or a hologram Doberman, something cool like that. I think Dave 2037 deserves it. He worked hard. What are you getting Steve 2037?
I guess I was thinking Steve 2037 would just fend for himself.
Well, all right, but don't expect to be borrowing my anti-gravity boots.
You want to have money in your future? You got to start saving now. Putting some money from every paycheck into a savings account or contributing to your 401k can make a big difference later. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free ideas and easy ways to save, go to feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org.
Hey, let's just hope Steve 2037 doesn't get his hands on a cool time machine, because he is going to come back here and knock some sense into you.
This message brought to you by the American Institute of Certified Public Accountants and the Ad Council.
Danger, danger. I don't fit in, I'm a stranger. Believer. I can take out all the evil. Empowerment to all my people. I can prove to you I'm a leader.
And welcome back inside the Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 and Eagle Eye TV. Hello, everybody. Jared Dillard, and joining me in the studio is Bay Marks, Siobhan Cutler, and Jacob Hillman. Less than 10 minutes to go in the show here on this Monday, post-Iron Bowl Monday. Should be a holiday at this point, but
getting up this morning was tough, dude. I'm telling you.
I mean, are we just going to make every Monday after a big sporting event a holiday? I think we should.
Yes.
But the Super Bowl should absolutely be a holiday.
Absolutely. Yes. Oh, man. Sunday was hard to get up for. I think Sunday I got up and I still didn't realize that we won. Yeah, it was that kind of Sunday. And on top of that, let's go ahead and get into some other sports for at least 10 minutes. We can give them at least 10 minutes. But you're bringing up during the break the Steelers being 7-5. And I saw somebody say, and this is pretty crazy when you think about it. AB, gone. Le'Veon Bell, gone. Big Ben, gone.
One game.
Yeah. The Steelers are without Pouncey right now, right? They lose all these guys. They got this defense that's taped together. James Conner's out as well right now. So you got in
Jalen Samuels. And Benny Snell.
Benny Snell.
Yeah, with the mouthpiece. That was cool.
Yeah, you got in Benny Snell. You had Mason Rudolph, and then they got clocked in the head with a helmet, and then he got benched. And now you have this guy from Samford, not Stanford, Samford, Alabama, who goes by the name Duck, which now all your fans are quacking during the game, and they're wearing duck costumes. You got all that going on, and you're somehow 7-5.
And in the wild card.
I think there's always been conversation about how good of a coach Mike Tomlin is. I think he's a pretty good coach.
Yeah, I agree with that. He knows how to get players ready for games and get them to battle for them.
It's just tough this year being in the same division as Baltimore.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at their losses. Other than the Cleveland loss, they lost to the Patriots, the Ravens, the Seahawks, and the 49ers. Those are some pretty good teams.
Those are respectable losses.
Just saying.
Pittsburgh should not be where they're at right now. They should be where the Chargers are at right now.
They have a pretty favorable schedule up until their last game. They have at the Cardinals, who are eliminated from playoff contention. Then they have the Bills at home, which is a winnable game against a decent team. Then on the road at the Jets, and then they have to go on the road to Baltimore, which could decide if they make it to the wild card, because they're not going to win the division. Baltimore's winning that division, obviously. So the wild card is where they're going to have to make their money.
So there's that. There's obviously the Patriots are, I don't say imploding, they're 10-2, but they're definitely having some struggles on the offense side of the ball.
They looked bad last night.
The Texans took care of them. So there's that going for you.
Wasn't it last year when the Texans had a chance to take the 1 seed from the Patriots?
They didn't.
Yeah.
Let's
see, the Ravens can do it this year.
And the Ravens should, as the Ravens are now moving past the Patriots as Super Bowl favorites in Vegas. There's that. You got that going for you. The AFC is weird. The NFC is kind of locked up, I want to say.
Oh, I'd say except for the East.
For the
East,
because
it's a dumpster fire. So.
The East is ground zero.
That's one spot. It's not like you have any wild card teams there. We know it's going to be Eagles or Cowboys. And whoever it is probably going to get dominated in the first round.
So there's that. The NFC's looking to be pretty locked up. The AFC's weird. There's a lot of fun teams in there. The Bills are just kind of running away with that first wild card spot. They're kind of just doing their thing. 9-3, and don't blink, but the Bills can still win the division. Yeah, that's a thing.
The way the Patriots offense is looking against that Bills defense, who knows? And hey, even the defense for the Patriots didn't look too great last night.
Yeah.
They were not up to par. They gave up some explosive plays and can't do that.
Ravens played the 49ers in a pretty good game. And I think even in the loss, the 49ers look pretty good.
Yeah. It was only their second loss of the year.
Yeah. Obviously, their defense, pretty dang good. Offense, we know that they've had struggles. But, I mean, they went up against the best team in the NFL. And it was on the road, and they still looked to come out on top. So that the 49ers got that going for them.
And I mean, we've talked about the Seahawks being right on their coattail. The Seahawks have beaten them already this year. That'll be a fun race to watch towards the end of the year. And I said on Overreaction Monday, I believe, a few weeks ago, that I think Seattle might win that division. I know you're against me because you're a 49ers,
aficionado?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's jump from the NFL to the NBA.
Luka Magic.
Mavs win. Mavs
Luka
win.
got his revenge because LeBron did a step back in his face. He did one on LeBron's
The Mavericks
face.
should be 2-0 against the Lakers. That's a whole other discussion to have.
Yeah.
I don't have enough time to yell about it. But Mavericks' big win over the Lakers broke their 10-game winning streak. Miami beat Brooklyn.
Are you just salty because Dwight Howard?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So you should hate Dwight Howard and not the Lakers.
No, I hate the Lakers.
Okay.
I do think Luka's on his way to an MVP.
Luka's, I think this month, this November, he averaged a triple-double.
He did, yeah.
He averaged a 30-point triple-double.
He just needs a little bit more help because Kristaps isn't really playing the.
He's having
his
on and off
potential.
nights.
Yes, he's hot and cold. If they can get just a little bit more consistency out of him and a little bit more, I mean, he's getting a lot from Hardaway right now. I believe is Seth Curry still banged up?
He might. The Mavericks are they're a very deep team.
They have this. Yeah,
He
that's
could
what I was
be
gonna say.
banged up.
They have this. They have the supporting cast. That's a team that can take the West if they really wanted to.
And they're currently tied with the Clippers for 4th. But man, I've never been so excited to watch the Mavericks play. And I get to watch them in their next game when they play because it's on TNT. I get to watch them on Tuesday.
Yes.
So as far as Curry Curry did play 16 minutes last night.
Okay.
He only scored 3 points, but hey, he did his job. So there's that.
Are we? Can we also talk about the fact that there's a team in the NBA that's on a 10-game losing streak and it's the Atlanta Hawks?
No.
Why we got to bring that up?
Hey, Javon, remember on Overreaction Monday when you said the Hawks could be a top 4 team?
I mean, I got excited. I think we were we were 2-0. I guess I got too excited. So, but
I mean, I
then
don't
again,
blame them. They look
I wouldn't
good.
have thought John Collins would get suspended 25 games, and Kevin Huerter's been out a bunch of games, and it's basically just Trey Young and a bunch of people. So
we need to stop overreacting to Atlanta teams because we said literally the same thing when Breeze went down. We said, Drew Brees goes down.
I mean,
and we're all like, "This is the Falcons' chance to take the division," and then they slid.
I mean, I don't know how to explain the Falcons season. Like, honestly, I thought we were going to come back in that game on Thanksgiving night, especially when we got 2 onside kicks, because that never happens.
Technically 3.
Technically 3, yeah. But honestly, I thought we were going to win, but then Matt Ryan and the offensive line were like, nope. So
just remind me in the spring, if we bring up early in the MLB season, the Braves could win and be the 1 seed. Don't do it. Because it's not going to end well.
Oh, no, I'm not going to say that.
It didn't end well for the Hawks. It didn't end well for the Falcons. It will not end well for the Braves. Let's not go down that road.
Atlanta's a cursed sports town.
It is.
If only the Thrashers were still there.
Oh, they're cursed. They're just somewhere else.
They're just in Winnipeg now.
Hey, other basketball news for you in the show. Auburn basketball is now number 14 in the AP poll after taking the Legends Classic last week in Brooklyn, New York.
That is true.
Number 14.
Yeah.
We're going on up.
Yeah.
Really? They could have gone a little bit higher. Michigan skyrocketed.
Oh,
Michigan wasn't even ranked.
Yeah.
They're second in the nation now. I think that's
the 4.
I don't know. I think they're second.
Wait, hold on. Wait, they're where?
They might. All right. Well, so even for
hold on. Were they where?
they were unranked. Now they're 7-0. Won the Bad Boy Mowers Championship, and I saw where they're like top 5 in the nation now. Like they skyrocketed.
They're top 5.
Yeah, they're number 4. Yeah. Yep.
Poll inertia is dead. Like how did that happen?
Like it was.
Good Lord!
I think it's the highest jump. It's got to be one of the highest in poll history.
Yeah, technically
it has to be.
Technically, it's 22 spots because they went from unranked to number 4. But I don't know. Let's see where they were on the receiving votes in last week. They were not the 26th team. They were probably like 35th. Is that 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33.
So they went from 33rd in the nation to 4th.
Basically 29 spots. Yeah.
Good Lord.
Just for winning the Bad Boy Mower Championship
They
in
beat some
Atlanta.
good teams, and they look stinking good doing it.
Yeah,
they're
they
great. They're a great team, and I know that
Juwan Howard's got that program.
there was concerns about Juwan Howard being in there.
Wow.
They jumped so far.
Yeah. I thought, I was like...
It was like Auburn in 2013. They went from unranked to 24th, beat Texas A&M, and then they shot up to like top 10.
7 or 7. I remember that. But yeah, I thought they would jump to like number 10, but no, here they are at number 4.
Oh, man.
I think Jeff Goodman put them at number 2 in his poll, so I think that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jeff Goodman also has Auburn at number 8. John Rothstein has Auburn at number 8. Maybe
Welcome
Goodman
to
has
the
it
jungle.
8, 9, but it's...
Yeah.
Welcome to the jungle. We sleep in May.
Well, that's going to do it for the show today. See, I didn't say it. I almost thought about saying it. That's going to do it for the show today. Thank you guys for joining me on this special Monday show. Only 5 more shows after this that we got to do. So we're going to end it on a high note. But thank you, Bay and Jacob, for joining me on the show. Catch the scoreboard Thursday at 4. Javon, Cutler, and Cruz tomorrow at 4 o'clock as well, as we're going to head out of here. So thank you for watching and listening to Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 FM. That does it for the Extra Point here on WEGL 91.1 FM and Eagle Eye TV. Want to watch more? Catch replays of the Extra Point on Eagle Eye TV by going to eagleeyeauburn.com. You can also go to WEGL 91.1 FM YouTube page for full replay. Want to listen more? We have you covered. Tune in to Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, or SoundCloud and search WEGL 91.1 FM for more of the Extra Point and other sports content. Stay up to date with the latest news and sports by visiting WEGLFM.com. The Extra Point, bringing you the X's and O's from around the plains of Auburn and around the world of sports. Auburn's best sports talk radio show, Auburn's only sports talk TV show. Watch and listen live Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to noon. WEGL Sports, where every game lives.